Hey y'all, this is Jared Grisham here to do my EDTPA critical reflection. So I've got a video here from looks like maybe a 10th grade, 11th grade English class, and they're going to be talking about some grammar and some other concepts. So let's go and get into it.
Next. Alright, so looking at this worksheet, number one, you have two words and you have a phrase. Those two words, one of them has a positive connotation, one has a negative. Dark, please head up, please. Do you have your binder and all that? It's right there. Will you grab it and grab the worksheet?
So I want to comment on this first, that she's not afraid to call out certain students in a way that I think was not demeaning and was not too aggressive. So she's definitely focusing on individual learning, making sure that everyone is focused on the lesson. And I think that that is a dynamic that you need to have in your classroom, one that is confident and dominant, but not in a way that is demeaning or makes them feel singled out in a way that would hurt their feelings. So I think she does a good job here of getting the lesson, getting control of students, making sure everyone's paying attention.
One has a positive connotation, one has a negative connotation, and one is the denotation, or the dictionary definition. So what I want you to do, and I'm going to help you with the first couple, is fill out this chart at the bottom as it corresponds. So let's look at the first one. Your options are gaze, look steadily, and stare. Options are gaze, look steadily, and stare. Do you have a question?
Let's see.
You can't write.
You thought she said a pejorative term, gaze, like a word you use to interpret homosexuality? Yeah. Okay.
Can I get a volunteer of somebody who wants to be a helper for Tyrese and sit next to him and write on both of your sheets? We can do that? Alright, thank you. Are you okay with that, Tyrese? Cool. Alright. So, or here, I'll just give you his sheet, Azar, just so you have the notes, because I'll give you an extra sheet, and you're going to give it to him filled out. So I want you to have that in front of you so that you can still follow along with all of us. Yeah, but then Azar will give you one that's all filled in. Okay.
Alright, so I also want to comment on this. I'm not sure what exactly is the reason for the student off screen to the left not being able to write, but I see how she identifies this issue, and she doesn't just get mad at him or anything, because at least from what I can see, she wasn't aware that he wouldn't be able to write. All she does is immediately try and fix the problem, show some ability to work with students' needs, which I think is very caring and very good. And to call on another student to be able to help their fellow classmate also is good for building character and constructing meaning in the classroom beyond just educational purposes, but also educating in a moral sense, which I think is very important to teach your students about the world and about what it means to be a loving human being and not just a faithful student. So yeah, I think that's very, very good of her. And so far, she seems to have very good control of the room. And yeah, so we'll keep going and looking at it. And I'll skip ahead to get to the next part that I want you guys to see.
What'd you say? Wait, in number one, what is the word that's the negative? Oh, that's what you're saying.
Okay,
Yeah, which word out of those three has a negative connotation? Stare. Wait, Raymond, and that crew over there. Dwayne. Okay, so while those mean the same thing, which is written right there, what is it? What is the denotation? Look steadily. Do you see that? How that's in the middle? That's the denotation of those two words. Both of those words mean the same thing. But if you were to say, oh, he was gazing at me at lunch, versus he was staring at me at lunch, very different meaning.
I read it means gay.
Yeah.
It's still weird.
If you think it's still weird, yeah, it could be for some people. Yeah, so that's your emotional response. You still are kind of freaked out. Yeah, Julian, you had a question?
Alright, so another thing that I think is very good here is I'm seeing how she is allowing for open conversation in the classroom. I know that not every classroom can handle this, not every set of students can handle this, not every grade can necessarily handle this. You have to read your room, read your students, and also maybe arrange seating in a certain way to allow for this sort of environment. But I think that this is a goal in a lot of ways for teachers to be able to have this setting where they can control their room respectfully, and I saw that this student in the blue on the bottom left of the screen and the student in the black shirt bottom right, they were kind of talking while she was lecturing, and for a moment I was like, okay, she's not, I'm not going to say anything about that, that's interesting, but she stopped the conversation, singled them out, asked them to stop talking, and then got back into it, and I see how people are interacting with her, she's responding, letting them share their opinions. She's not putting them down for those. She's just letting them speak freely and learn the concepts for themselves. And I think that's important, that she's not just standing up there pointing at a screen and talking to them and letting them either think away in their own little world or talk to each other. So I think she's doing a good job with that, with controlling her classroom.
What about what? Gawk? Good, Dre. So he just brought in another word that we just learned, which was gawk. Which one? What do you think that has? Positive or negative connotation? Negative. You don't want people gawking at you. Good. Okay,
So again, here, this is her linking to previous knowledge. She didn't necessarily create that, but at least the environment did, where a student was able to bring up previous learning material and they were able to engage with that and link that into the lesson. So this other grammar, gawk, as a learning denotation and connotation, and then they're able to see the denotation, the connotation of a word like gawk. I think that that's again, a benefit of this style of discussion that she's promoting here, and I think that that's something that I want to have in my classroom. So let's skip ahead a little more and see a few more things.
No one would say that.
why not? You think that's kind of weird?
Yeah.
So, but people, yeah, they would say, what's that smell? Or what's another way that they might say it in a positive way? Yeah, you smell good. Most people don't say fragrance, but maybe what perfume are you wearing? Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. No, right here, fine, right there.
Again, I'll quickly comment on this, that someone asked to move up to be able to see the screen, I'm assuming, and she allows it, and then another student wants to follow, and she says no to that. And I think that that is another example of the type of control you should have in a classroom. I think that was a good move on her part. She knows her student, she knows her classroom.
Alright, so what's the denotation of those two words? Alright, and we're going to talk about what the olfactory nerve is. Who knows? Does anybody know? I bet you can take a really good stab at it or make an inference. What is an olfactory nerve?
That thing that olfactory nerve. That thing that.
Yeah, and what'd you say, Dejan? You said something similar, right? I don't know, something about it helps you smell, right? Your olfactory nerve is a nerve in your nose, and it helps you smell. Have you ever gotten punched in the face and your eyes start watering? Yeah. That's because of your olfactory nerve. Got punched in the face. Or maybe just hit by a ball. I've kneed myself in the face once. When I was little, I was a cheerleader back in the day in grade school, and
Alright, so I will take a moment to comment on the video placement and the sound quality. Out of all the EDTPA videos I've seen, this one is actually pretty good. I think that a lot of the classroom is covered. I don't know what exactly allows this, but the sound is pretty good. You can hear the students well enough, and you can hear her very well. I think that that is all going well. It's good in that respect. A lot of EDTPA videos are lacking in that area. And so, again, I'm just going to kind of slip ahead and show how the lesson progresses so we can make it to the end and then have some final thoughts.
Notation, right? Because it's neutral. Remember yesterday we talked about the word neutral? You can remind me what that means. Yeah.
Why is the first one in red and the second one not?
They were all supposed to be in red, but it's not working that way because it's different cells, so it only counts for the one. Who can remind me what neutral means? Yeah, Tyrese. Yeah, non-biased, same in between. Something that's neutral doesn't really go either way. You know, journalists try to be neutral usually. That's a hint for this.
So far in the lesson, she hasn't really given any individual work or group work. So it's not a super dynamic lesson so far. But I do think that she's allowing for students to ask individual questions, again, because of the environment that she's promoting, as well as teaching the whole class at once. So I think she is doing a good job of individual versus group. focus and instruction, but I do believe that this lesson so far is lacking in some opportunity for group discussion, small group discussion, maybe a partner discussion or individual work. But it is a short clip, so it's hard to see what exactly she did with the whole lesson. So we'll skip the last few parts here.
You have 6 minutes to work individually on your own, Dwayne. So by yourself, do each one, Dre, and then we're gonna come together as a whole group and we're gonna talk about what each one of them are. Okay? So go ahead. If you don't get it finished, that's okay. Just give your best shot.
So again, she's being supportive of those who might be struggling with this. She's saying, just give it your best shot. As long as you put in the effort and do your best here. And I think that is good. And now we see that she is going to wrap it up with some individual work, which I think is good because they get to look at this for themselves, wrestle with it for themselves, and allow for the student teacher or the CT to walk around and help them with the concepts individually and allow them to ask some questions. And also, when the video started, I watched the first half and I thought that it was an English video because they were talking about denotation and connotation, which is what I just learned with my 8th grade students in a middle school. But it looks like they're actually talking about denotation and connotation in a science classroom. So that is my mistake.
Tyrese, work along with somebody to your left or right. All right. Because you can't write with your
Oh,
right hand.
Azara's taking notes for him.
Oh, well, yeah.
Well, he just might
What's up, Julie?
Alright, so that was the end of the video. They end with that individual student work, and she's walking around offering to help them. Overall, I think she did an okay job. We didn't get to see the entire thing, and I'm sure there was a lot more to it than just this 9 minutes, and so I don't want to place too much judgment on just from what I saw. But I think that her attitude and her classroom control and the way she related to her students and understood them was very good. I think she incorporated a variety of different means of instruction, and that I'm sure she did other means throughout this lesson plan as well. If not, then that would be an issue, because I think that she needs to spend some time putting them in groups and allowing them to collaborate and not just her sitting in the front. So yeah, overall I think it was good. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts though. Thanks so much for listening.